Looking to exercise? A scenic view? Photos for the gram? Let me tell you about the Vancouver Seawall. Created in 1917, the Seawall's origins begin in Stanley Park, constructed under the master stonemason James Cunningham. The Seawall Loop was then extended in 1980 from Stanley Park through Second Beach all the way to English Bay. As the world's longest uninterrupted waterfront path, the Seawall is a 28-kilometer path that runs from downtown Vancouver through several parks and beaches such as Stanley Park, Kitsilano, Spanish Banks, and even continues towards Granville Island. The Seawall is also divided into two paths, with one being for bikes, scooters, and skates, with the other for pedestrian foot traffic. It's currently one of the most popular attractions and a must-visit for anyone that's living or visiting Vancouver. To get to the Stanley Park start of the Seawall, you can take the SkyTrain to Waterfront and walk alongside the ocean path over here, or you can get up at Burrard Station and take the bus to Georgia and Denman, which is right behind me. Also, if you don't own a bike, don't worry about it. There's a ton of different bike rental shops around the area, and some of them even offer student discounts. Just make sure the bike that you rent is the right size and height for you. And a good rule of thumb is check the frame and the seat, how high it is to your waist. So downtown Vancouver, as well as the Seawall path, have these public bike sharing docks, aka MOBI bikes. And these are really convenient because they're pay-as-you-go. So all you have to do is register an account on the website, and then you can bike as long as you like and return them right back to a dock that you find nearby. Really convenient way to get around the city if you don't have a car. Although Stanley Park was the original start of the Seawall, they've updated it so that you can start the route at Cole Harbour around the Waterfront SkyTrain station. So while you can start the Seawall path here at Cole Harbour, I still recommend you starting at Georgia and Denman, since it's closer to the bike shops and there's a lot less pedestrian traffic around that area. If you're ever curious how far you've gone, there are brass markers along the Seawall every half kilometer. They're a good indicator of the distance and how much more of the Seawall you have to complete, as well as a reminder to take a break. And when you take a break, feel free to enjoy the scenery while you're out here. So how long does it take to actually complete the Seawall? Well, according to the Stanley Park website, it takes about 3 to 4 hours to casually walk it, and it takes about less than an hour to fully bike the path. It's also a two-way path, so you can either walk or bike in either direction. So while you're along the route, you'll come across quite a few monuments, from a totem pole, a cannon that fires every 9 p.m., a Japanese ship figurehead, and even a statue of a girl in a wetsuit far into the ocean. It's always a fun idea to read some of the plaques that share a little bit of the history behind each monument. All right, so if you've started your Seawall path from Georgia and Denman and made it all the way to English Bay or Lost Lagoon, then congrats, you finished the Seawall route. Technically, you could keep going down the path and end up at Science World and further on to Granville Island, but in my opinion, finishing here is the most comfortable way to complete the Seawall. There's also a bunch of MOBI bike rental docks nearby, and you can follow the pathway down Denman back to the bike rental shops. So yeah, perfect circle. So what are some tips for first-time visitors? Well, if it's your first time biking the Seawall, recommend wearing a pair of good shoes and bringing some light clothing such as a hoodie or a light raincoat that you can layer up, so that way you'll be protected from the UV rays during sunny days, or if it decides to rain in Vancouver, which is most days. Also, to make sure that you don't lose your way, we recommend checking out the routes on Google Maps or on tourist sites. It's a good idea to follow the signs to ensure that you're always going the right way, because we don't want you to lose your friends if you're walking or biking the path. If you're on a bike, skateboard, or anything with wheels, be mindful of any joggers or people walking the path, and pay attention to the signs on the ground that show if you're on the walking path or the bike path. It's also a good idea to listen for the bike bells for anyone that wants to pass on your left. We also recommend bringing a bottle of water and some snacks to keep yourself energized along the way. There's not too many food and drink vendors along the Seawall, but if you really want to make a treat out of it, bring a blanket or beach towel and make a picnic day. Also, just a bonus tip, while starting at Stanley Park is the classic route for the Seawall, if you want a more chill and relaxing route, I highly recommend checking out the Main Street Science World Station starting path. It's only about 5 kilometers and there's nearby MOBI bike rentals for more relaxing and take your time kind of a route. So what are your kind of initial feelings and thoughts about just biking along the Vancouver Seawall?
It's a good way to enjoy your own company, play sports, and see another people. So I feel really, really good, and to cross all this way, because I really want to do this one day. For sure, be a little tired, I feel tired, but I'm so excited. I like these times.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And do you have something similar back home in Brazil?
I know that this view is really, really good because in Rio de Janeiro, for example, have a few beaches and just get a bike and go away. It's amazing.
Okay, nice. So even around Rio de Janeiro, you can also bike along the water.
Yeah, we can.
If there's any new students that are just coming to Vancouver and this is their first summer, to really try this pathway here, because yeah, when it gets raining and cold, you won't be able to see it.
Yeah, I came here in the spring and my first week started to rain and didn't stop for like 1 week to 10 days. So our advice is enjoy the summer, because when in Vancouver it started to rain, the rain didn't stop.
If you're looking for the quintessential Vancouver experience, then the Seawall is your go-to destination. From ocean views to cityscapes, you'll experience so much of Vancouver's natural beauty and sights. So the next time you pass a bike rental, hop on and take yourself on an adventure. Anyways, thanks so much for watching this video about the Vancouver Seawall, and let us know in the comments below if you've ever been and what photo spots you would recommend. And if you'd like to see more, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Look how nice it is outside.